Hello, welcome to Verbling. I'm teacher Oakley, and in this class we are going to continue our series looking at collocations. Collocations are phrases, words that are often spoken together in common conversational English. There are informal collocations and more formal collocations you'd see, for example, in business writing. Collocations can be simply natural arrangements of words like adjectives that go with certain nouns, adverbs that go with certain adjectives, verbs that go with certain object nouns, or we can also include into collocations common expressions, maybe even some idioms, and maybe even phrasal verbs. Okay, today's specific topic, we're going to be looking at vocabulary related to the law. Okay, I do not speak lawyerese, so we won't be doing that. So, law is like one of those things where, like doctor language, lawyer language, they have their own kind of language. But we won't get into any of that really. We'll stick to language that the common folks use. Hogan, welcome to the class.
Hi, good to see you again.
Hi, good to see you. In your country, do lawyers seem to speak a different language?
You mean Korea?
Yeah. Is it common? Is like reading a contract, a legal contract, like reading a foreign language?
No, I don't think so. If
No?
that matter related to international, then they probably have to. Just inside of the nation, they don't need to read in English. Yeah.
No. I don't mean literally a foreign language. I mean they have so many of their own terminologies and idiomatic phrases. They use Latin phrases in English law. They frequently use Latin. So it literally can be a foreign language. But even the types of collocations often and sentences and vocabulary they use is not ordinary everyday vocabulary. It's very difficult to read a contract in English even for a native English speaker. A contract written by a lawyer, you need to get a lawyer to read it. That's why Americans and British people hire lawyers for everything, because you can't even understand what the contract is saying.
Yeah, same happens. The same happening in Korea actually. Yeah, there are some specific terms and idioms you, in general, probably cannot understand. That's why we need the lawyers.
Yeah, they do that on purpose, Hogan, so that you have to pay them.
That's how they make money.
That's right. Doctors too. Doctors talk a language you can't even understand. Oh, you've had a contusion on your bilateral cranial contusion. What, doctor? Does that mean I'm going to die? No, that means that you bumped your elbow. Okay. Anyway, Sasha, welcome to the class.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi. How about in Russia? Are contracts seemingly are they difficult to understand for normal people?
For normal people, no, I don't think so. But of course, there are many special formal terms. There is a terminology for lawyers, of course. But if we speak about doctors, it's many Latin, not slang, the terminology
that's right.
in Latin, so it's difficult to understand, and almost no one can understand what doctor write to you, because it's it's unbelievable to understand, especially if doctor give you a subscription, for instance. You can't even read it. Only people who can read it, the other doctor.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Yeah, I think, and I actually asked somebody about this once. This is universal, by the way, not just Russian, not just English, but to my knowledge, everyone I've asked from every country says the same thing about the way doctors write. Be careful of this. It's a prescription, not a subscription for medicine.
Sure. I have subscription verbally, sure.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, prescription, sure.
Right. Right. It just looks like, in English we say it looks like chicken scratch. All right. Really bad writing or writing that you can't actually read.
Yeah, the same.
We call that
Yes.
chicken scratch in English.
The same
Yeah.
to us, chicken scratch.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
Or
Okay.
like chicken write it. Wrote it. Or like that.
That's quite funny, actually. Okay. Heidi, welcome to the class. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Okay, how about in Japan? Are legal contracts difficult to comprehend?
Particularly government paper that are very difficult. They use different words.
Okay.
Normally we don't use that word.
Yeah. All right. There you go. Yeah, particularly the government, right? I think the government writes,
Very
contracts and laws.
Old-fashioned writing style.
I think they do that on purpose. I don't think they know what they're doing. Actually, recently in the United States, there's been several laws that have been passed with like 187-page whatever findings or what have you, and they asked the senators or the congressmen, okay, did you thoroughly study the contract? Well, I browsed through it. Something ridiculous, like out of 100 senators, only 3 of them actually read the law they passed.
Recently, my sister graduated the university in the law class in Germany. So she needed to make essays. But the language is much different from the usually they are speaking. And some special words that she needed to use for essays for the law class. Then she needed to employ some person to correct the word.
Oh my goodness, it really is like another language. Well, okay. We'll do some reading today, but first we're going to do a kind of different style of exercise than we usually do here in the collocations class. We're going to do something a little bit different. We're looking at this is, by the way, this is a way that if you're studying English, one possibly useful, possibly not, a way of making notes or learning vocabulary. You can use this kind of circle idea to look at possible collocations with that word. An idea, maybe it'll help you visualize if that's the way you tend to learn, just an idea. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to combine these are obviously verbs in the outer circle here, the outer circle of circles, with the word law. Let's see if you guys can come up with a sentence that makes sense, hopefully, using the verb and law. Hogan, don't worry about getting too fancy, just a pretty straightforward sentence so I understand that you understand.
If you are American citizen, you have to obey the law.
You do?
You have to obey the law.
No one told me that. Okay. Obviously, you understand the meaning. Yeah, okay. Everyone should obey the law. If you don't obey the law, then you could end up in jail. All right. Very good. All right. Very good. Thank you. Sasha, next one. Pass. Make a sentence.
Pass the law. It means... should I say what it means?
You can say what it means, or you can give me an example sentence, whatever you're more comfortable doing.
it means that new law was like was produced, like government decided that some law like come into force. That law come into force.
Okay.
So
A law will come into force. That doesn't sound right, and yet it does. The law will come into effect. There. To think about that. Okay. If the law is passed, a law can also be defeated, or really, at least in American culture, it's a bill. A bill gets voted on. If enough people vote for it, it's passed and it becomes a law. So when you read about it in the newspaper, Congress today passed a law banning purple shoes. I don't know, whatever, for example. Okay. Heidi, next collocation, uphold and or enforce.
Make sentence. Oh, government make laws and the police enforce them.
Okay, Heidi, but of course that depends on what country you live. Yeah, well, that's the idea anyway. Right, okay, very good. Good job. That sentence works very well. Hogan, act within.
America is a free country, but you have to act within the law.
Okay. Okay. It's very close to the first one you had, obey or observe the law. Okay. You'll hear this sometimes with extra words in a sentence. Act within the boundaries of the law. Act within the confines of the law. You hear this used a few different ways, but basically it means the same thing as the first one you had. Observe the law, obey the law. Sasha, respect.
yeah, respect the law. Like comply a law or observe, obey, I guess.
Yeah, it's again related to all of those things. Okay, you should respect the law and not speed in your car. Okay, if you're respecting the law, you're again observing or obeying the law. Okay, Heidi, introduce.
A member of Congress introduced a bill in Congress.
Yeah, this doesn't really entirely work for me. This is a misnomer. Actually, this is interesting because you're right, Heidi. You're exactly correct. You can't introduce a law because it's not a law until it's been introduced and voted on, then it's a law. So it's really impossible to introduce a law. So it's kind of weird here. But I mean, I've heard it, actually. Oh, the government introduced a law to restrict the number of immigrants coming into the country, for example. Okay, when they first started a law, I've definitely heard it. When I think about it, I never thought about it. I've definitely heard it, but I've never thought about it, but it's a little bit strange. But anyway. Sasha, comply with the law? Absolutely. It's a little bit more formal, but absolutely it's another strong verb noun collocation. Absolutely. Hogan, last one here.
That one is easy. So, for example, like if you break the traffic law, the policeman will follow you and give you a ticket.
Well, breaking the law, breaking the law. Okay. Very good. Okay, this time around we're going to do a little reading. I'll have you guys read these sentences and we'll talk about them. But again, we're going to do something slightly different. Let's see how many times we can make it around. Tell me a slang word for policeman in your country. Let's play a little game. Sasha?
Yes,
Okay.
we must all observe the law at all times.
Okay, observe the law. Well, oh, okay, wait a minute. We've already done all this. Silly me. Never mind. We just did all this. We know all these. So let's skip to the next part. Sorry, I forgot. Let's go here. Go ahead,
Me?
Sasha. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
sorry.
okay.
I
The new
spaced
law
out.
forbids slash prohibits smoking in all public places. The law
Okay.
doesn't allow.
Yeah. The law prohibits is actually more strong, but okay, forbids. Okay, Sasha. All right, that's pretty straightforward. Uh, what is a slang nickname or a slang or an abbreviation for police in your country, if you can translate it or not?
Yeah, sure, sure. It's something like cop sometimes, but
Cops.
we have
Yeah.
our own. But of course, police don't like when you uh, talk about them. This word, it word meant.
Okay, it's kind of equivalent to cop.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but I think police. You can call the police cop, right?
Yeah,
Or
they call themselves cops all the time.
yes, yeah.
My
But
dad was a cop. I'm a cop.
in Russia, meant it's like it's not good to call police like
Oh,
that.
really? Okay,
Yeah, they
that's
don't like that.
interesting.
Or sometimes pharaohs, but it's rare. It was more commonly used in the past. Pharaoh.
Fair enough. What does that mean? It's just a different
Uh,
word.
It's like there is a word Egyptian king. How to say?
Pharaoh. Oh,
Pharaoh. Yeah, yeah, Pharaoh.
that's a good one.
Pharaoh. Yeah.
Oh, that's quite amusing. Okay. That's pretty good. Okay, Heidi, next line here. The opposite of forbid, yeah.
The rules allow a member to bring guests into the club only at weekend.
Okay. Permit or allow?
Allow, because it's only club.
Well, you can use permit. The rules
Permit,
permit. Either one.
I think it's a little strict, so
Ah,
only
yeah.
bringing guests and only allow.
Okay, I see your point. Allows a little more informal. Yes, that's you have a point. Permits a little bit more formal. Okay. Sure, that makes sense. Okay, Heidi, how about in Japan? Do you have any slang words or abbreviations or anything that you call policemen? Or
Policeman? Bad guys called the policeman as a dog.
dogs? Okay. Okay. The dogs. All right. Excellent. Okay, Hogan, next one here.
These rules or regulations apply to all students, not just new ones.
Okay, now this collocation can be used in a couple of different ways. Okay, straightforwardly to talk about rules, laws, regulations. Okay, the law applies to everyone, even the president. Sure, we use this collocational bot, but we also use the negative expression. The rules just don't apply. In a more abstract way. So you will hear this expression not talking really, not even talking about rules, to say something like, I don't know, some new, okay, let's, for example, Bitcoin, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, a new kind of monetary denomination, a new type of money, Bitcoin. So the old rules for transactions just The rules just don't apply. Okay, the way that Bitcoin is transacted and it's moved from one person to another is different than the old rules for money. They do it differently. So the old rules just don't apply. Okay, so we're not really talking about laws or anything. We're talking about the way that it happens. So you'll also hear it that way. Hogan, how about in Korea? Do you have any funny or slang names for policemen?
Yes, you have. Bird.
Bird. The pharaohs, the dogs, the birds. It's really hysterical. Okay, you guys probably know, of course, cop is normal for policemen, and also derogatory. The police don't like it if you call them a pig. So in America, they're pigs. If the cop car comes around the corner, you might say, someone might wisecrack. Smell that? I smell bacon. Okay. It's funny. Great. Okay. You might also, in English, you might hear policemen in general, or really authority in general, called the man. The man gonna knock on your door and arrest you. Okay. Anyway, Sasha, continuing.
If we follow the rules, at least 20 people must be present at the meeting. Do what the rules say.
All right, you follow the rules. Okay. All right. Follow the rules. Strangely, we don't really usually say follow the law. Strangely enough. However, there is a similar expression, follow the letter of the law. Okay. Sasha, do you have any idea what that may mean? To follow the letter of the law, or follow the spirit of the law?
No, I think it is the same as follow the rules that that is written in law.
Okay. Follow the letter of the law is kind of talking about following very, very specific details in the law. All right. But as opposed to follow the spirit of the law, in quotes, spirit of the law, is kind of vaguely following the law. But, okay, we're following the law in spirit. That means, oh, we believe in the law and we're kind of doing it, but perhaps you're not following the letter of the law. Perhaps in details, you're not really doing what the law says to do.
It's
kind of
fudging. About Russia.
Yeah, following the spirit of the law. Okay. Well, more or less following the law. Yeah, what I think of, actually, Sasha, I think of taxes when I think, okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, most people, when it comes to taxes, they don't really follow the letter of the law. They follow the spirit of the law. You know, the letter of the law, for example, you buy a lottery ticket and you win $10, you're supposed to report that to the government as your income. Really? Do you think anybody actually does that? No. I don't think so either. If you find $100 in the street, you're supposed to report it according to the letter of the law. But nobody does that.
Even if you find it?
Yeah, you're supposed to.
Oh, wow.
By the letter of the law, but of course nobody does that. And the fact is, the government knows that nobody does that. Okay. Heidi. Next one here.
The regulation stipulate that all students must register for the course. Because it's formal, so I think it's stipulate.
I, again, would agree with you. Stipulate is quite formal. Is definitely more formal than require. I would agree with that. Okay, the regulations stipulate. Also, this could be, you could collocate this with the rules, stipulate, the law stipulates. Any of these nouns, rules, laws, regulations, can all be collocated with a require or stipulate. Okay. Stipulate, yeah, it's more formal. This is a word you might hear a lawyer use in court, for example. Okay, Sasha is asking if we have an expression, hand of the law. No, but close. Not hand, but arm. The long, and it's always like this. I don't know why. We don't say the arm of the law. It's always the long arm of the law. So, not exactly, but I'm glad you asked me because I would have forgotten to introduce this idiom. Yeah, there's no getting away from the long arm of the law. The long arm of the law is going to find you. Yeah. It's never the arm of the law, by the way. That would sound ridiculous or strange if you just said it that way, so keep that in mind. Hogan, next one here.
We have to comply with the regulations concerning the testing of equipment. Formal to what the rule says.
Okay, comply. Okay, Sasha asked about this earlier. You comply with the law. Again, comply with the rules, law, regulations, all of those. This verb collocates with all of those. Also, I will add to this another common version of this same thing that you would it's very common to hear, in full compliance with the law. Okay, whatever, maybe the law requires you to do something. For example, if you're going to build anything in the United States, actually, whatever, a private home, a factory, whatever, you have to comply with a lot of regulations. You're going to have to get a lot of different building permits. You're going to have to get special land use permits, water permits, and when everything's said and done, you must go about building your house in full compliance with the law. Okay. And somebody most likely will check all that stuff. You really can't get away with not getting all those permits and such. Sasha, last one in this list here.
I hope we can bend the rules and let her take an exam on another day. Informal break the rules in a way that is not considered important.
Yeah. Once again, more or less related to our spirit of the law. Oh, we're in the spirit of law. All right, you bend the rules. Okay. Also, kind of related, when we talk about the law, sometimes we talk about a gray area. Okay. Heidi, what am I talking about if I'm talking about, oh, this is a gray area in the law?
Mm-hmm.
What am I talking about?
Mm-hmm.
What am I talking about if I say, oh, this is a gray area in the law?
Loophole.
Ah, okay. There's another word that I need to introduce. Yes, possibly, quite possibly, a good example would be a loophole. Okay. All right. Yeah, a gray area, it's not clear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, laws are written by politicians, and sometimes they're not clear. So you really don't know exactly what the law is telling you to do or not do. Right. Tax laws notoriously have gray areas, and tax laws are in particular are prone to meaning they're likely to have loopholes.
Yes, sometimes the companies need to negotiate with the tax office.
True. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Happens a lot in the United States, actually. Far too much. Okay. Moving on. Let's talk about punishment. Okay. Breaking the law. Breaking the law. Okay, Heidi.
Carry out an investigation. Police are carrying out an investigation into the major theft in a factory in Woodbay. What? Woodbay.
I don't know. Woodvale. I don't know. Whatever. All right. Carrying out an investigation. Okay. Police carry out an investigation, or the district attorney carries out an investigation. Heidi, who's the district attorney? What am I talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any idea what I'm talking about when I say district attorney?
No. I can't understand what you say.
Okay, I'll write it. All right, if you ever hear this, and you're very likely to hear this in detective shows or movies, so you know what they're talking about when you hear this, the district attorney. Excuse me. This guy is basically the lawyer. Yeah, the chief prosecutor, in fact, Sasha. That's right. He's the lawyer for the government. That's right. He or somebody from his office will be the prosecutor in a court case. That's right. Hogan, let's go to court.
Appear in court. The trial starts today, but the witness will be appearing in court tomorrow.
Okay. Very literally here, but whether the witnesses. Okay, not the okay. I was thinking that they were saying the defendant. The defendant is the person that's on trial. He's the person that they're trying to put in jail or fine or whatever. I was going to say that I didn't read this right. I thought it was saying the witnesses will appear tomorrow. I was going to say, how does that work? I thought it said the defendant. That doesn't make sense. So the defendant has to appear in court. The witnesses may have to appear in court as well. But we also use this phrase, okay, he got arrested for, I don't know, petty theft, and he's scheduled to appear October 17th. So you also hear this phrase, scheduled to appear. And we use it, we don't even say in court. We just say scheduled to appear, and everybody knows what that means. We don't even need to mention that it's court.
Can you say like a show up?
Show up?
Show up in court.
Well, yes and no. I mean, under specific circumstances, show up is to arrive. It could be. I mean, he showed up to court wearing a clown suit. I guess. Sure. But, all right, he showed up half an hour late for court. Yeah, you could use it, but then, of course, you're specifically talking about arriving at the court. Exactly. Okay. Sasha, next one. Sasha, go on trial.
Okay. Go on trial. George Arthur Lord, accused of murdering his wife, went on trial today.
All right. Pardon me. Strong collocation, of course, you go on trial. Yeah, we don't. This is the verb we use. I know it's quite simple, but there's nothing else. No, do a trial, make a trial, take a trial. It's you go on trial. All right, Heidi, next one.
Reach a verdict. The jury are expected to take several days to reach a verdict.
Okay, very good. All right, what verdict are they going to give? What are verdicts? What are possible verdicts?
Guilty or not.
Guilty or not guilty. That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Only decide guilty or not.
In some cases, okay, all right. I said I wouldn't talk lawyerese, but there's another possible plead in some specific cases called nolo contendere. It means you don't contend. You're not saying you didn't do it, but you're not saying you did do it. In cases where the defendant could be sued or is liable to be sued, somebody could sue him for money. He doesn't want to actually admit that he's guilty officially. Sometimes you're allowed to plead nolo contendere because it legally protects you. You're not actually admitting that you did something wrong. So this is also possible in some cases that may involve a civil suit. A civil suit is different than a criminal suit. Civil court is where you like get a divorce or something like that. You're not going to jail. But Sasha, can you say bring in a verdict? Yes, you can. The jury today brought in a verdict in the George Arthur Lode case of not guilty, which surprised everyone. Absolutely, that's a very strong collocation. You would definitely hear that commonly in the media, for example. Hogan, next one.
A fair trial. It now seems impossible that Harold Graves can receive a fair trial, given the media publicity surrounding his case.
Okay. All right. Now, okay, this is a good example where you would actually hear this. Otherwise, it's basically assumed you will have a fair trial, pretty much. Okay. Okay, Hogan, a fair trial. Okay, maybe the opposite. Hogan,
Yes.
would you have any idea? Can you guess what a kangaroo court is?
Kangaroo court?
Kangaroo.
I've never heard about that.
Okay. Okay. I thought no, it's a real term. I'm not making it up, and no, it's not an Australian court. If that's what you're thinking, no, that's not it. Actually, it's an American term. The idea is that a kangaroo court is all prefixed. It is not a fair trial. The opposite of a fair trial. A kangaroo court is where the verdict is already decided before the trial even starts.
Why they call it that way?
Fixed. That's a good question, and I wish I was prepared to give you a good answer. This is something I learned in history class way back in high school, and I did at one time know the answer to that question. It has something to do with the media and the way it was a famous court case was reported in the media, but I don't remember exactly what it was. There's a story behind it. I'm sorry, I can't remember it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Sasha, the court is just a formality? Yeah, pretty much. That's the fix is on. It's already been decided. Okay. Next, Sasha, next collocation here.
Be severely punished. The judge believes that all shoplifters should be severely punished.
Okay.
Shoplifters.
Yeah.
Who steal things from shops.
That's it. That's right. Not money, but things from shops. Right. Absolutely. Okay. Severely punished. Okay. What do you know an expression to mean the opposite of severely punished? Okay. If somebody, whatever, shoplifts and they're just put on probation for 30 days, and that's it. Do you know an expression that might be used?
No, I don't know.
It's idiomatic, so there's no reason you should. He got arrested for shoplifting, and all he got was a slap on the wrist. Okay, this is an idiomatic expression that means the person got off with a very light punishment. Light punishment, by the way, is severe punishment. The light punishment, we don't really usually say heavy punishment. We more often say severe, but we do say light punishment. A slap on the wrist, very common expression. Heidi, next one here.
Okay. Face a heavy fine. People who park on double yellow lines face a heavy fine.
Yeah, slight difference. You pay a heavy fine. That means you're obviously paying it. If you face a heavy fine, that means it's possible.
For example, in a parking lot, there are several parking places for disabled people. Very close to the facility, it's a very good place.
Yeah.
If normal person parked at the place, is he punished or not?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You remind me of a friend of mine that I had. I just gotta say, this girl was really sweet. She just wasn't too bright, but she was a very sweet person, but she just didn't get it. Her father was in a wheelchair, and he didn't drive anymore, so he gave her his Cadillac, a really nice car, and she drove it around. But of course, she had the little sticker or the special plates that allow the handicap parking. So wherever she went, she was always parked right in front of the door. Nothing was wrong with her, however. She just didn't get that was really not morally okay to do that. But anyway.
It's not punished. No punishment.
No punishment because she had the license plate, so she never got caught doing that. Never. But if I tried to do it with my normal license plates, yeah, you can be sure that I would be caught, and it's a stiff fine. There's another collocation. A stiff fine, meaning expensive. You can bet if I tried it, I'd end up with a stiff fine. Yeah. You can also, in addition to facing a heavy fine, another collocation with face, you face charges. Oh, okay. The senator was arrested today, and he faces charges of racketeering. We use this to mean the person has been arrested, but he hasn't gone to court yet. So he's in that stage of the process. Okay. He faces charges. He hasn't been charged. He hasn't even had court yet. Or possibly he's in the process of court. Okay, because the charge actually happens when the jury or the judge says guilty or not guilty, and then the punishment or the sentence comes around. Hogan, next one. Oh, whoops, I skipped one here. Okay.
Face the death penalty. If he's found guilty of murder, he will have to face the death penalty.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think this is fairly obvious. Face charges, face a heavy fine, face the death penalty. Okay, death penalty, obviously, the government kills you. Hogan, does South Korea have the death penalty?
Yes, we have.
You do? Okay. What can you get the death penalty for?
What can you get? What do you mean by
Yeah,
that?
you get this fabulous set of knives. No, I don't mean like win a prize. No, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase it. Uh, why would they give you the death penalty?
Because
What crime? Yeah.
we want to separate the person from the society if he had a severe crime like a killing of people,
Murder. Okay.
murder, or something like that.
That was my question. What crimes would get the death penalty? Murder.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, murder
Treason.
and betrayal of the country.
Treason. Okay.
Treason, yeah.
Yep.
And the group gangster kind of things.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. In the United States, only murder, and it would have to be planned murder or murder one or treason. But of course, although America's used the death penalty and still does, and fairly regularly, no one has gotten the death penalty for treason since I think like 1960 something. It's been like 50 or 60 years. Okay. Next one, Sasha.
Act as a deterrent. People often support the death penalty because they say it acts as a deterrent.
Okay. Meaning what? What does that mean? It acts as a deterrent.
I don't know the word deterrent.
Okay.
So,
Comes from the verb to deter. To deter is to kind of to block. Okay. To block someone or to prevent something, or to attempt to prevent somebody from doing something. So, all right. So that's the idea. Okay. A prevention. It acts as a preventative. Maybe might be another way to say it, but of course we never say that.
I mean, it's like I got it. It's like the sign on the road when
Yeah, it's close to that.
or different animals, and it is put there to deter people from hit maybe on the road animal.
Yeah, that's right. Or when they put speed bumps on the road, it's to deter you from driving too fast.
Well, basically, it's prevent.
Yeah, basically, yes.
From something.
Right. Okay. Moving on, Heidi.
Suffer the consequences. Anyone who commits a crime has to suffer the consequences.
All right, and sometimes this phrase comes with a little longer, in a little longer sentence, suffer the consequence of his, her, their actions. So it often comes in this longer phrase. It's very common. He must suffer the consequences of his actions. For example, when somebody gets the death penalty, you'll hear this entire sentence in the media and such. Okay. Fairly common, actually. Hogan, next one.
A harsh penalty or sentence. Some judges are more likely to give harsh sentences than others.
Okay. All right. All right. Now, strangely, we don't say, although we say severely punished, we don't say severe sentences. We don't say harsh. We do not say hard sentences, or it's possible to say long sentence. Like you got 40 years in jail, you got a long sentence. But okay. Strangely, we say a stiff fine or a heavy fine, but we don't say a heavy sentence. We don't say a stiff sentence. They just don't, strangely, don't collocate. They don't kind of mix for some reason. Sasha, next one.
A hard legal battle. After a hard legal battle, she won compensation for the accident.
Okay, well, a hard legal battle usually means a long legal battle. I think more often than not, you're going to actually hear the collocation a long legal battle, because that's what they are. You may hear other collocations, other adjectives, a tough legal battle, long legal battle.
No.
Heavy legal battle?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Maybe harsh, though. A harsh legal battle? Possibly. Okay. Anyway, last one here. Heidi.
In any case, you will need a very good lawyer if you are going to have any hope of winning your case.
Okay, and the opposite?
Remember that before I was athlete and basketball player or football player, he killed his wife and ran away. But finally he won the court.
Who, OJ?
Yes.
Yeah. Remember driving really slowly down the Los Angeles highway in his what was this car? Range Rover or something? I don't know. Ford Bronco. By the way, just weird, stupid trivia fact, but the sales of Ford Bronco were in decline, and they were basically ready to discontinue this particular brand of automobile. But after O.J. Simpson, it was live on television, him driving like, I don't know, whatever, 10 kilometers an hour down the highway in his Ford Bronco. The sales of Ford Bronco went through the roof, like dramatically, like up 300% or something. And the brand was continued after that. This particular make and model was continued. I think up until the present. I think they still have them. Anyway, how a person's murder helped the auto industry. Pretty crazy stuff there. I don't know. Okay. Let's see. Maybe we can do a quick mix and match set here. Hogan, mix and match, the beginning and ending of the sentence here.
Number one, the rules apply to all students in college.
Excellent. Sasha, number two.
The rules prohibit to use of mobile phones in class.
Yep, the use of mobile phones in class. That's it. Heidi, number three.
The rules allow students to to book college guest rooms at the weekend.
Very good. Allow to. Another collocation, the verb with to. You're allowed to do something. You're prohibited from doing things. Often it comes, prohibit goes with from. Hogan, number four.
The regulations stipulate that the coursework must be handed in on time.
Perfect. Very good. Okay, Sasha, number five.
Most students follow the rules without too many complaints.
Very good. Excellent. And Heidi, number six.
The authorities bent the rules to allow Mary to submit her coursework a little late.
Excellent. And finally, Hogan.
All students must comply with the regulations.
Yes, indeed. All students must comply. Okay, very good. All right. Excellent job. I'm sure you are all fine, upstanding, law-abiding citizens. There's another collocation for you. One more for the road, I suppose. A law-abiding citizen, somebody who follows the law, is a law-abiding citizen. You'll hear them referred to as such. Okay. Sometimes, okay, Sasha, you're asking. Sometimes we say the law. Sometimes we don't. Well, just the same way that laws are countable nouns. You are right. I know what you mean. You're talking about in general. You're right. This is kind of an exception. Normally, I'm talking about pencils are countable. If I'm talking about pencils in general, I have many pencils. Okay, I'm a teacher. I have many pencils. The laws are strict in United States. Okay. Yeah, sometimes we use the law to mean law in general, but you may notice that we usually actually define it. The whatever laws, the immigration laws. I don't know. It pretty much works like other words, I think. I think sometimes it can be used to talk in general with the law. I don't know why.
Mostly the with an article.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you.